Hello and welcome to this practice exam conducted by British American Resource Center. My name is Maruf and I'm your practice examiner. These exam questions are designed to simulate the IELTS speaking test. At the beginning of the IELTS speaking test, you'll be required to provide your passport, but as this is a practice exam, you don't need to require any ID today. Now, in the first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. First, I'd like to ask you some questions about your family. Do you have a large or small family?
Well, I live in a small family with my mom and dad, so it's a nuclear family that I live in.
How much time do you spend with the members of your family?
Well, I do spend the most of time with my family members, except for mostly in the daytimes. But most times it's the evenings, so after that hour works, the most times I spend is with my family.
What sort of things do you like to do together?
Well, we have a rule in our house that the morning breakfast and the evening or the dinner, the 2 times meal we do share together. And other than that, specifically in the weekends, we visit places or relatives.
Now, in this part, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 or 2 minutes. Before you talk, you will have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. Here's the pencil and the paper. You can take some notes. Okay, thank you. You have 1 or 2 minutes for this. So don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up.
Well, specifically, I remember that in the 6th grade, we had a teacher, and he was our maths teacher. And before that, I can say that I didn't specifically like the subject maths because of numbers and all the calculations and complex formulas. But something changed when he started teaching us, and the way he taught us about the numbers, maths and formulas, it just didn't seems like it was all difficult and something big as numbers and plus and minus. But it became something more fun for us to do. And specifically after that, specifically he's the reason now math is one of my favorite subjects, I can say that. And I see the most special thing about it was the way he taught us, the way his teaching skills. It made us exceptionally good in maths with numbers and all that, because he just made us think that numbers are everywhere in us. So I think that's the best thing that our teacher taught us, because a subject that we love, the best thing we can do is find it in ourselves or find it around ourselves everyday life. It'll become more interesting to us. So that was the reason he influenced me in this subject. And after that specifically, he just made it more and more fun for us. And sooner or later, we just became more good at it. And till this day, I think most of the time when I am trying to create a new ways to solve the maths in a shorter way or broad formulas in new complicated ways, that I still think of him that what would he do? So that's the thing he just put in our minds. That's not every teacher or not everyone can do. It takes a certain person with certain qualities, I believe.
Great. Do you still meet your teacher?
Yes, briefly sometimes, specifically on a few occasions I do meet him. But I can see that in the past few months, not that much, but I would like to.
Do other people you know remember this teacher?
Yes, actually, my friends, most of our friends, when we were at 6th grade, back from 2 or 3 years back, we still remember him. So yes, a lot of us still remember that teacher specifically.
Great. Can I have the pen and pencil?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We have been talking about the teacher who has influenced you in your education, and now I would like to ask you some questions related to this. First, we'll look at the development in education. Has education in your country changed in the last 10 years?
Well, in the past 10 years, I can say that the number of educated people, the person educated, or the education rate itself has obviously increased in significant way, in a significant amount. But other than that, the subject or the way we are educated, education level system, they're still quite pretty much the same. But yes, there's a development, huge development in the ways we used to do things in education. So, yeah.
What changes do you think will happen in the future?
The way things are going now, there's a possibility that in future we will be able to see more subjects in higher education, which is specifically the reason we need more subject, more varieties other than just the few major subjects. So that's the possibility I see in the future, that more subjects would be wide open for us and we would be able to find new ways to study more specific and calculative way.
What changes would you recommend to improve the education system?
Well, I can specifically think of one reason or one way to improve it more, better than other than this is from the 10th grade, specifically from the 10th grade, what we can see is the science or business studies or humanities, whichever part we take, we are just, we have to take every single subject. It's not specifically a bad side, but it's a weakness, a small weakness in the system, which can be improved if students get a more chance to see then which subject they will thrive the most, which subject they can understand the most or they can take the most. In that way, they don't need to understand or learn every single subject, but they can focus on one side, which they can actually pursue and make a great deal out of it.
Now let's look at the national education system. What role do you think extracurricular activities play in education?
Specifically, I think that if we take education or our education certificates or our studies as the number one, and extracurricular activities, the way of sports or any other combat sports or whatever we say, playing chess or anything, we take those numbers as the zero, then we can see that the number one itself has a great value, and the zero is only valued when it is put beside the number one. So it will increase the value of 1 to 10, 100 and 1,000. But other than that, two separated, education is only one, but other than that, the specifically extracurricular activities itself doesn't have any value. So they will have to go side by side because one thing leads to another, and specifically the experience is much greater and higher with extracurricular activities.
What is the role of the school in modern society?
The one big influence that I think the schools have in our modern society is that the base, the foundation of a children is formed in the schools. The base and foundation for everything, for adapting to new environment, for seeing the intelligence in that part. This is the base foundation schools provide for us, our children in the modern society. It's a great deal of work.
Great. Thank you. This is the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you.